All right, everyone, big news. The CHAZ is now the CHAP. The Chapel Hill Autonomous Zone has been renamed the Chapel Hill Occupy Protest. Now, this name change came about after different factions battled it out for control of the ladder. And the winning faction climbed that ladder and changed Autonomous Zone to Occupied Protest. So, the CHAP, formerly known as the CHAZ, was founded Monday evening when Seattle Mayor and City Council ordered their police to abandon the East Precinct building. Now, radical left-wing extremists and Antifa gangs had been throwing bricks and other things at the police for days. The mayor didn't want the rioters, mostly peaceful protesters, to hurt themselves. So she simply told the police to abandon the precinct building. So the cops boarded it up and left. And the radical left declared it their own territory. And the mayor and the governor are just letting them have it. The state government of Washington actually delivered porta potties to the occupiers. Now, there's already been a bunch of violence. People have been assaulted. People have been threatened with violence. People have been forcibly expelled. It's all on video, despite the disingenuous fake claims by Seattle mayor that it's a quote-unquote block party. A street preacher was just violently attacked, choked, held on the ground for a long time. Eventually, he had to be rescued and carried out.
You're choking me!
The media are trying to put a positive spin, yet even left-wing CNN admitted that there was a serious potential for violence.
If in fact there is going to be federal officers or federal law enforcement come to this area, it is not going to be a pretty situation. These people have made it clear that unless there's some kind of major reform, and remember, they want to see this police department defunded or even abolished, short of some type of major concession, they're not going to leave voluntarily. And we should point out that Washington is an open carry state. And no doubt, some of these protesters are armed, Anderson. So you have to worry about the potential for bloodshed, the potential for violence, if in fact they're going to try to remove these people by force. Anderson?
Now, it took less than 48 hours for the CHOP to get its own strongman ruler. So whenever you have a power vacuum, the guy with the biggest posse, the biggest guns, and the most charisma takes over. And in that case, it's local Seattle gangster rapper Raz Simone. He unilaterally declared himself and his posse to be the quote-unquote leaders and quote-unquote the police.
Are the police of this community now. We are the leaders of this community now.
And almost immediately, Raz was accused of vigilante brutality against an unarmed black male. You may have heard about this. There's a bunch of different cell phone videos, and a bunch of witnesses are saying that he beat up a graffiti artist, kicked him in the head, broke his glasses.
The only thing I said, it's on the tape. Look, let's stop the stream. I'll stop the stream right now.
It's also been discovered that Raz posted anti-homosexual slurs and rhetoric on Twitter back in 2010 and 2011. Now, the first and primary goal of the CHOP was to be a cop-free zone. Well, they already failed at that. Raz and posse met with the chief of police outside of the CHOP, and they let 18 police officers in to inspect the precinct building for a brief amount of time. So the cops came in, they went into the building, and then they left. This caused a whole bunch of infighting and chaos. So how are citizens of the CHOP occupying their time? Well, they're sitting around listening to extreme far-left speeches like this.
I want you to give $10 to one African-American person from this autonomous zone. If you find that's difficult, if you find it's hard for you to give $10 to people of color, to black people especially, you have to think really critically about in the future, are you going to actually give up power and land and capital when you have it. If you have a hard time giving up $10, you gotta think about, are you really down with this struggle? You find that African American person and you give them $10. Cash App, Venmo, $10 in your pocket.
So all white people must prove their devotion by giving a random black person $10. And I like how the dude in the corner is all clapping, and then he holds up his hand so everyone can see him and tell he's a black guy. He's probably sitting there thinking that these are the stupidest, craziest white people he's ever seen in his life, and he figures if they're dumb enough to give him free money, he's going to take it. So there's some grassy areas in the CHOP. There's actually a big soccer and baseball field, but that's AstroTurf. And then directly north of that, there's some public restrooms, and there's another park, and basically the first patch of grass in that park, it's called the Kyle Anderson Park, I think. They're making these circular farms. There's at least 3 of them now. And it's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. They're putting cardboard on top of the grass and then putting dirt on top of the cardboard. And then they're putting seedlings in the dirt. Now, I've never farmed before. I've never had a garden. But this looks insane. Does this look like any kind of viable garden to anyone? As soon as it rains, the cardboard is going to be floating away. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen. And to make it worse, all these left-wing Twitter accounts and left-wing blogs are praising what a great accomplishment these gardens are. There's some guy named Marcus who is supposed to be in charge of this garden project, and they're alleging that he has a master's degree in sustainable urban development. So if you actually have your own garden, let me know what you think of this garden, because I can't even understand how grown adults could create this thinking it could possibly be a viable garden to produce food. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button, post a comment below, and please support my YouTube channel, as YouTube has mass demonetized all my videos. And click the subscribe button. New video every few days.